Head coach of the Canes, Mario Cristobal, joining us now. Coach, you were asking us in the break, how was our summer? What were we up to? How was your summer? What were you up to?
Oh, we were doing a lot of things regarding the University of Miami, but got a little bit of family time, but a very productive summer. Certainly some great additions, and everybody's geared up for next Monday when we report.
Yeah, Coach, you made a lot of additions, a lot of great additions, instant impact guys. Is this offense, is this roster starting to look like a Mario Cristobal offense and team?
On paper, you know, right now the offensive line is obviously, there's a lot of experience there and some continuity there. The quarterback is a dynamic player and personality. But the backfield, the tight ends, and the receivers have certainly taken another step in their work ethic, production, everything else. So we're excited about it, and we want to go put it to work.
I want to jump into more of that offensive line. You got me excited talking about
it.
I see Jalen Rivers here, my gosh, 6'6", 330 something. But I see all his muscles. It's not just this pudgy dude. And I have the feeling that's what everybody looks like. What kind of strides has the offensive line made this offseason?
Well, you know, Coach Mirabal, he dual trains everybody. The versatility of our offensive line is really unique. Everybody plays the right side, the left side, inside and out, and about 5 guys take significant center snaps during camp. That being said, that allows for a lot of movement, a lot of rotation, and also, you know, some great, you know, fail-safe plans just in case, you know, the injury bug hits us. But they're a really confident, hardworking, aggressive, just high-culture group. They're a lot of fun to be around, but, man, they grind. They grind, and they're in the finishing plays, finishing blocks, and certainly elevating the standards of our program.
Has Jalen stepped up as the guy?
He has. Yeah. That guy's a total pro. That guy's going to play a long, long time. He's going to be successful in everything he does in life. He is the right kind of guy. He's exactly what you want your own son to be.
Coach, I met Mr. and Mrs. Ward, Cam Ward's parents, downstairs when I was just finishing lunch. Good people. Like, what kind of guy is Cam Ward? Like, we all see him as a player. We've seen glimpses from the spring game, but what kind of person is he to this team?
He's a product of his family. He really is. He's a reflection of his upbringing to the T. I mean, that guy, from the moment he stepped on campus, made it a point to show everybody, look, I know I have a lot of, you know, hype and a claim to my name, but I'm going to show you by how I work. And I'm going to show you by how I perform. And you can't find moments where that guy's not in the building. Sometimes I ask him, don't you have class? You know, but he is always in there. You know what he is? He's a great wide receiver coach, because that guy will find time to drag those guys in there and meet with them individually and as a group, stay with them after practice on the field, and talk precisely as to what he's looking at, what he sees, what the expectation is. And he holds himself to a high standard, and they hold him, and he holds them. It's a great relationship.
Wow. Coach, a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, in the close games, you're like 1-4. And I remember year one at Miami, I was 0-4 in close games. What are some of the things you're doing to make sure next time around you win those close ones?
Yeah, it's all about closing that gap. You know, year one, there was a pretty big gap. You know, a lot of those games weren't close. And then in year two, we find ourselves, we close out a game like Clemson. We close out a game like A&M and like Virginia. But then we didn't close out NC State. Down at the 1 yard, we fell short. We got down to the 4 yard line against Louisville, and we fell short. You know, those are things that, even though our total offense and total defensive numbers improved, the areas of third down, of red zone, penalties, right, turnovers, those are 4 areas that even modest improvement can make a big difference in the end result of those football games. I think the enhanced culture, resiliency, and talent levels of our roster are certainly going to help as well, and the continuity of our staff. Being able to evolve now, being able to maybe put a little bit more on the plate of our players, doing simple better while still evolving is going to be a critical piece of our
a lot of times, you know, pain comes before the glory.
That is true.
You know, and I think the glory is coming.
Yeah, it's you can't skip the painful steps. I'm a big believer in that. Certainly have watched Coach you in your career and all the great things that you have done. You learn. You know, you live and you learn. And with our guys, it's simple. And our guys, the excitement around these guys centers around the fact that these guys run to work. You know, like if you don't like to work, your experience at Miami is not going to be good. We like to work. We really like to work. These guys run to the fight. They run to work. They have really high standards for themselves, and they're super humble guys that are very, very driven.
Coach, what's the conversation like when you bring in a big-time transfer like Cam Ward? Because there's younger guys there in the quarterback room as well. How do those conversations go?
Transparent and honest, right to the point. There's no sidestepping this stuff. There's no sugarcoating it. There's a starting point for everything, and the starting point at Miami required that some areas require high-level talent as freshmen from the high schools, and other areas required some portal additions. And we're very clear and transparent about that. And that avoids later misunderstandings. And everybody's really taken to that, and they've done a good job taking the competition where competition is viewed as a good thing, not a threatening thing. So all in all, the culture has taken another step.
Coach, there's obviously so much expectation this year because of the additions you made, because of your quarterback, offensive line. But the other piece of that, I think, is the defensive line. Mm-hmm. The trenches are the difference to me this year from years previous where there was that same type of excitement. Talk to us a little bit about the defensive line. How has Ruben Bain increased his role? And, of course, everybody else along there.
Really excited about the defensive line because we've had additions both from a health standpoint. Guys like Josh Horton are finally healthy. Akeem Mesidor is finally healthy.
Yeah.
Akeem Mesidor is a big-time player now, And then we've had some uber-talented freshmen join us, and then some really talented portal guys join us as well. Guys that are versatile. You got guys that have played on the edge and have played inside, bounce around as a 3 technique on 3rd down, go in there as a nose tackle on 1st and 2nd down. So we have a lot of pieces that you can move around in case of injury, in the case that we just want to keep guys fresh and rotate them. But they're competitors, and they're physical guys that are going to be going against a physical offensive line. So by the end of camp, we'll be a little bit sore and beat up, but we'll be better because iron sharpens iron is going to be a real thing finally for us at the University of Miami.
Coach, I remember the conversations we had after the spring game. You were saying potential portal and some guys to add to the offense and to the defense. You get Damian Martinez at running back. What kind of depth does he bring to the running back room?
Big, strong, powerful guy that can flat out go. If you get a chance, watch his film out there. When he was at Oregon State, and whether it be wide zone, tight zone, duo, pin and pull, he does it all protection-wise, screen game, just a big physical guy. First contact for him is usually contact plus 2. He turns his leg through contact. He finds a way to get extra yards. Again, that running back room is really good right now, right? A.J. Allen is back healthy. Mark Fletcher is really close to being completely healthy. Chris Johnson had a great spring. Wheatley Humphrey, Jordan Lyle, hard to find a better freshman in the country than him. You got a lot of good pieces, and it's the way it should look.
Well, what does that do, though, when you add a guy like that? Because Mark probably thought he was next and going to be the bell cow. But then when you add a certain piece like that in Martinez at that position, I mean, guys want to be saved a little bit, right? A guy doesn't want to get 40 reps a game. So what is his mindset? What are the other running backs' mindset, similar to the transparency question?
Well, the way we run the ball, you need bell cows.
Right.
You can't have one. Yeah. One's not going to be enough. We pound it up in there, and they're all so different. Mark is a big, powerful guy that can run. Damian's a big, powerful guy that can run. Chris has got blinding speed, right? Jordan's a combination of those guys. AJ's a combination of those guys. They're all very different. So you can throw your fastball, your slider, your curveball, and keep guys, as your competition. Can it get uncomfortable at times? Welcome to football, the way it should be.
Yeah. Right.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be an alumni of the U, and I was able to be at the event during the spring game, and it was just awesome to see the current players intermingle with the former players.
Sure.
And there's just such a great group of guys that just want to be a part of that, keep coming back. And I got to experience as a head coach as well. But talk a little bit about that.
That was awesome. That was Michael Irvin.
That was amazing.
When he spoke, he hit him right between the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Did Coach tell you what he said? He looked at those guys.
He told us yesterday.
Yeah, he looked him right in the eye. He said, if you can't help us win, if you're not here to help us win, you can't be my friends.
Wow.
You can't be part of this family, and Andre Johnson echoed that. And
I know, that's fun.
Devin Hester, and then all of a sudden you've got 330 plus alumni there, and they're into it. And I mentioned to them, you know what? I remember being a player here, and it was awesome because it was always us against everything. And when Miami does that, it's special, and guys want to be connected, and they want to get better, and they want to make each other proud. So, great moment. The alumni has always been the key to Miami, and will be the key going forward as well.
Coach, how important is that first one? I know it's very important because you want to win the first one, but for recruiting, winning the state, you're already doing a heck of a job recruiting, but really taking over the state, getting that first game.
The most important thing is that first practice, and you know that. You know, that game. I mean, come on. It's everyone in the world knows that that game is going to be awesome. It's going to be just an incredible atmosphere, and a lot of talented players going that way. We can't wait for that day, but we can, because even more important than that, Miami's got to get better with our systems, with our discipline, with our technique, our fundamentals, our communication, our culture. We've got whatever many days before we hop into Florida full throttle that we need to take full advantage of and get better, so that that August 31st is the kind of day that we want. So until that period of time comes around, I'll be the most boring interview as it relates to game.
You're never a bore, Coach. Before we let you go, I do want to ask you about the number 1, because it is a special number at Miami, and nobody under your tenure has worn it until now. And those guys are here today, and Cam Ward and Kiko Maui Noah, your linebacker. Why are they the ones that get to don that number this year?
They earned it. And it's strange for me. I've never handed out that number. Yeah. I'm as old school as it gets. Yeah. My high school coach he looks like Sensei Kreese from Cobra Kai. You know what I mean? He's like real deal hardcore. Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson, all those guys. But they're it. They deserve it. They deserve it, and they have also, and they don't look at it as a burden. They have the responsibility and the privilege and the honor to make sure that means something.
Wow.
Well, I know at the end of it all, you're hoping you guys are sitting at number 1 in the ACC, and we're really excited to see what you guys do on the field this season, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.